Hi, I'm Kathy Feltz.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Jody Pear. So, what's new? We didn't meet last week, Kathy.
Oh, so we have lots of different things to talk about today and chat about.
Yes, so I am excited to talk about the changes that I've been making in our bedroom, as you know, if you've been following along. But one of the projects that I mentioned before that I was going to try as an experiment was doing small, like I do abstract paintings. And so I did some specifically in a neutral color. So it's like shades of cream and white, and then that it has an iridescent finish, like a pearlized finish on it. So I did a couple of paintings on this soft, I have nothing to show as an example, but on canvas. And so it's flimsy, like a piece of paper would be, and like a little bit thicker than paper, but it's actual canvas. So I painted the canvas, and then I cut it down to size to go into these how do I want to say, like inserts. There's like
Mhm.
in the front of our armoire and the nightstand, which if you recall, I'm not fond of these these furniture items in our bedroom. So I'm trying to cover up the parts that I don't like about it. And so I added the paintings in the insert. So it is still flush with the drawer front, and it covers up these vertical wooden slats that are like mission style.
Mhm.
It covers them up and I don't have to dust them anymore. But what it looks like is like mother of pearl. That's what it looks like. So I'm so happy about it. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work out. And then I did mention before, I did also change the hardware. So there's new hardware on both of those items. So that is a big change. And I have the photo gallery, the our vision wall that is done again for a second time. And the frames are still hanging and have not fallen. so so I have six pictures, and three of them are from some of our favorite beach destinations that we've gone to. And then the other three are for places that we still want to go. So I have Greece, Italy, and Paris. And these are all, so it's kind of a combination of happy memories, but vision of, what's to come when we can travel again safely. Eventually. And then the dress. So if you remember, I had Larry add a hook to the front of our closet door. So when the closet door is closed, I have a cocktail dress hanging there with a pearl necklace and a brooch.
Mhm.
And so that's like kind of three significant changes. And what I'm going to do, no promises that this works, but I'm going to try to do a small little video and I'll attach it at the end of this session. We'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work out, then I will just have pictures that I send to our email subscribers to show you what it looks like, and the before and the after for the furniture. Um, and I am still waiting on the shelf because I really did want to move the nightstand and move it to Larry's side. And then in its place, I want this shelving unit. Um, and it is still on back order. It was supposed to be in the end of November, but now they're talking about the end of December. So I'm still waiting. But
Mhm.
so fun things. And when I think about, like, so when I walk in our bedroom now, it's just like, it just feels fresh and airy and spacious, even though it's a tiny room. But it's like, it's simplified. And that is something that I value and that I try to do in everything, in my work. I always try to simplify things for other people. And so now to try to do that for myself, and it feels really good.
Mhm.
So what's happening with you?
And you're talking about simplifying things
Yeah.
and simplifying your space. And that's one of the many areas that you and I are really similar in, because I am always trying to do the same thing. And what I find in my space is that we've talked about this before in other videos, but you stop seeing what's in your space. So I have kind of two examples of that. So I've been working on my office, and I've been working on clearing off the top of a dresser to turn it or repurpose it into like kind of a coffee bar area, to make just a feeling of being in my office, like being out, at a coffee place. And so I'm working on doing that, and I did, and maybe we could share a picture after this, but I did buy a nice tray, just a nice simple white tray, and a nice new white coffee mug. And I just have like 2 items that are still on top of the dresser that I need to move off and find new homes for. Everything else I've found a new home for. And then the other thing is over on my bookcase, I've been simplifying that and clearing out file folders. So I did buy from the Container Store a pretty large file box, bigger than a banker's box, if you know the size of that, but it's probably about, I don't know, 50 inches.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of big.
That's big.
And about like 12 inches or 18 inches deep. So anyway, so it's a nice big box. It's white, which was hard to find. They had colored boxes everywhere, but not white. So I had to order it. But the problem, because it's big, is that when you fill it with file folders, it's heavy. So it looks fine, but it's not functioning the way that I want it to. So if I have to get a file folder and pull this heavy thing, it's on the bottom shelf, so it's not going far. But if I have to pull that off the shelf, it's kind of a pain. It's not easy to do. So I'm rethinking a little bit. One thing is I want to remove some of the folders that are in the box to make it lighter. So a little more purging. And then I want to take out the file folders that I need to get access to more frequently. So it's kind of looking at what I'm using, how often I'm using it, and I want to put those file folders in a different spot. So I don't want to have to, if I use something once a week, I don't want to have to go into this file box, pull it off the shelf, find the file, put it back on the shelf. I want it more accessible. So that's still a work in progress, and it's coming along. It looks way better. Maybe I'll send you another after picture so you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a little bit, kind of what's working, not working, and what's changing. And then the last thing about the office is that just like you, Jody, with your gallery wall, I want to do a gallery wall in the office. So my desk faces the dresser and faces this wall that at this moment is blank. So that's not really too interesting to look at. So what I want to do, instead of doing multiple pictures, I just want one large picture. And what I want is a cityscape of New York, like a New York skyline. And that for me evokes memories of being in New York after 9/11. I was part of a disaster and response team that went to help. And it really makes me think of the good in people. So the event that happened, 9/11, was a horrible event. And it was like, people at their worst, terrorists. But it was like right next to the event of people in New York and people from all over the country coming to help. So it was, I remember the outpouring of help and people just coming together. And that's like, that spirit is what I want to look at in my office, and people in a purposeful way helping each other, and just the beauty really of that.
Right. Beauty right beside devastation.
Right. So if I have a nice picture of just New York, then that will evoke really positive memories for me of being able to be part of something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
And being able to witness people pulling together and the strength of that.
Yes. And and so I'm just kind of flashing back to our house coaching session because we've talked about this. You and I have talked about this, and we haven't shared this kind of detail with people. But
Mhm.
what came out during the house coaching session is your desire to work in a coffee shop, which you can no longer do
Mhm.
since COVID. But you liked that so much because you were you felt calm and focused because everybody around you was all doing their thing. Like
Mhm.
everybody was, not working together, but the energy of people working
Mhm.
was energizing to you. And so that's what you experienced back in New York was everybody is kind of doing their thing. You were all there for a specific purpose and utilizing your own gifts and your own purpose. And so even though the reason was devastating, the purpose that came out and the beauty that came out from pulling together like that is a
Mhm.
really good memory for you. And so that's why we're trying to pull that together in your office space. So you don't forget those feelings. And
Mhm.
so it's kind of coming together slowly, but in a unique way that is going to be a combination of coffee shop in New York and reminders of those feelings.
Yeah, and I think that will be very important to my space and something that really helps me to focus and stay grounded and centered on what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
I
And
I think it'll help a lot.
yes, and another thing that I wanted to touch on is you were mentioning the banker's box or file box being so heavy. So it's so good that you're keeping an open mind about this and saying, "Yep, I
Right.
made this purchase, and but it's not working the way I wanted. So what can I do with that now?" And so yes, you can keep it because it's a great item for storage, but it's not functioning. So you know that it's not working the way you want it to. So now you can tweak that. And it's like, okay, so what is next? And so to me, that is one of the fascinations with the house coaching process or decorating with intention. It's like I love to describe it like it's like a breadcrumb trail. Um, and I
Mhm.
think that it's unique and different than what we're used to seeing on HGTV and design magazines and Instagram. Like we think
Right.
that these things happen instantly, and
Right.
they don't. It's a process,
Right.
and staying aware of how you feel when you make changes,
Mhm.
that is a huge component of this. So it's like, yeah, so now you can tweak that a little bit and make it work for you so that it is convenient. Because if it's not convenient, you're not going to keep it up. And then you're going to have this mess on your hands again.
Yeah, and I don't want anything in my space that's kind of slowing me down or aggravating me. You
Exactly.
know, I want it to be a smooth functioning space. If I
Yeah,
wanted it to be aggravating, I would have left it how it was.
exactly. Yeah. You know what? And one of the lessons that I learned, so since I did my most recent house coaching session with my mentor and teacher about our bedroom, after our house coaching session, I was able to identify the negative feelings that I was holding on to regarding the furniture. And so I felt like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like I am buying new furniture. That's where my mind was. And I was actually looking for items. And for, unplanned circumstances, I had to really slow that process down. But
Mhm.
what happened is that it made me reevaluate and really get in touch with my feelings about this. And it's like, really, do I have to like, do I have to buy a new armoire or a new dresser? Like, is that really the answer?
Mhm.
And it wasn't the answer for me. So what was the answer was painting my ceiling because the ceiling was a dark color. I painted the ceiling, and now I added these paintings to the inserts of the furniture and change the hardware. so much more simple, which again is something that
Yeah.
I value. And that was the answer. And maybe it's not going to get me by for another 5 years or longer, but right now it feels really good. And
Mhm.
I'm happy and I'm so relieved that I didn't go out and buy new furniture.
Mhm.
Live with it for a bit. What can you do? How can you make it better?
Mhm. And I run into that with organizing clients all the time where they're looking for, well, what container should I get? Well, no container. Let's work on your space first, see what you're going to keep and not keep, and then we talk about containers. And 9 times out of 10, they don't need containers then. They could do what you did. They could repurpose things they already have.
Mhm.
And it's simpler and it's less expensive and you get to be creative.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, I have another change that I made in our house that I am so excited about. And this again was so unplanned. Our grandkids came and stayed with us this weekend. Our grandson, who just turned a year old, he is he's into everything. He's curious about everything. Well,
Mhm.
we had these, I have some IKEA furniture in our dining room. So there is the dining room table, and then we have a side, like a desk that I use almost as a buffet. And then on either side of that desk, I had bookshelves. Well, so they were tall and narrow. So we didn't have them secured to the wall. So they were not stable. And so my fear was he's going to pull this thing over, in 5 minutes. And
Mhm.
so I cleared them off and we took the bookshelves out and put them downstairs in my painting corner. So now they are storing my jars of paint and all my accessories, which I'm happy about that. And the dining room is painted navy blue. And it is in the middle of our house. So there are no windows. It's a dark space. But
Yeah.
with the very light IKEA furniture, it felt bright enough in there. And I was happy with it for all these years. Well, we took those bookcases out and it's like, oh my gosh, it looks so dark and uninviting. And I told Larry, I'm like, I cannot live with this. Like, there is no way. It's too dark. I'm going to have to paint the room. And he says, why? Well, so why don't you put your paintings in here? And I'm like, well, okay, I'll try that. Well, so I have three shelves at three different heights over
Mhm.
the desk. So I put a painting on each shelf, and then where the bookcases were, I put one on either side. So it's like a gallery wall, which apparently I am prone to. I keep creating gallery
Nice.
walls.
Nice.
But now it's my paintings, and now it's like, I can live with this. It is okay. And it's like, oh my gosh, I walk in there and there's tons of color because all of my paintings are abstract and it's a combination of colors. And it works. And I didn't have to paint the walls, which is I was ready to do.
Right. And again, so much simpler, so
So much
much
simpler.
easier. Plus, now you get to enjoy your paintings.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I can't wait. I'm going to take pictures and I'll share those. And actually, if I can, I'll do a small video and show you what that looks like. And it's kind of there's a lot of Christmas decorations going on right now. So it's a mix of my paintings with Christmas stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
we have time. There's one more thing that I did
Yeah.
in my living room. I'm waiting for some furniture to come to me, which I ordered back in September. So
Mm.
it's just taking forever. I'm waiting for a couch and a love seat. So my nephew was moving, so I knew I had to get rid of my current couch and love seat. And so he came and picked up the love seat. We're going to also give him the old couch, but we needed something to still sit on. So, we're going to wait on that. But it opened up a spot so that I was able to I have a swivel chair. I was able to pull my swivel chair out and put my hassock or footstool in front of it. I have a nice little space heater that looks like a miniature little fireplace. So that's in the corner. And then I have a new lamp that's there also in the corner, and it faces out on the front of the house so you can look out the window. And so now I've created like this little reading nook. And so it's so like kind of cozy and nice, but it's also open, because I have one less piece of furniture. And it's interesting. It just opened up that whole space, just removing one thing. Um, it was fun. It was
Changes the
fun
whole
yeah,
feel.
yeah. So I didn't buy anything. I mean, well, I did previously, but it just changed the whole feel and created a space that I'm now going to sit in. So before, that chair was in a spot where I would never sit in it.
Ah,
It
isn't
had
that
its back
amazing?
against the window, and so I never sat in it. And so now I've like the last 2 nights I've been sitting in it. So that's
So
great.
do you still want the sofa, or are you finding that maybe not? Or you probably need it for the seating.
Yeah, we kind of need it for the seating because otherwise we only have like a chair and then a couch, and so that's not really enough. Not that we're throwing any big parties now, but that's not enough seating really. So we'll see. You
Yes.
know, when the new stuff comes, we'll just kind of see. So actually, that'll probably be kind of hard. It'll probably feel crowded when the new stuff comes. So.
Right. But so it's like it's just so nice just to like just take a moment, take a breath and live with some empty space. And
Mhm.
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's how, I always think that's how you create.
It
You
is.
kind of move things around. Sometimes you take things out and then you have new possibilities. Mhm.
Yes. That's so fun.
Yeah.
So we both had lots of changes at our houses lately. And maybe, I don't know, I guess holiday related. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
kind of coincides, but yes, anyway, or a 1-year-old in your life who may
All right.
active on things.
Yeah.
Well, it was great talking to you, Kathy. And well, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Good to talk to you too, Jody. Bye, everybody.
Bye.